When a husband or a wife passes away in Canada, there is a short window, just a few weeks, sometimes a few months, where a handful of quiet mistakes can cost the surviving spouse thousands of dollars in benefits they were fully entitled to. Not because anyone did anything wrong. Because grief is not the time anyone is thinking about forms, and deadlines, and which government office to call first. So today I'm not going to give you a long speech. I'm going to give you the 5 things you must never do, so that you, or someone you love, never loses money that was meant to carry you through the hardest year of your life. I'm Peter Lawson, and I read these rules so you don't have to. Let's start with number 1 right now, because it's the one that costs people the most, and the clock on it starts the day of the funeral. Mistake number 1, start immediately. Number 1. Never assume the survivor's benefits are automatic. They are not. This is the single most expensive misunderstanding I see, and it is completely understandable. People assume that because the government already knew your spouse, already paid them their pension every month, the system will simply notice they've passed, notice you're the surviving spouse, and start paying you what you're owed. That is not how it works. In Canada, the 2 big survivor payments from the Canada Pension Plan, the CPP Death Benefit and the CPP Survivor's Pension, do not arrive on their own. You have to apply for them. And if nobody tells the family that, the applications never get made. Let me explain what those 2 things actually are, in plain English. The CPP Death Benefit is a one-time payment that goes to the estate, or in some cases to the person who paid for the funeral, when someone who contributed to CPP passes away. The CPP Survivor's Pension is different. It's an ongoing monthly payment to the surviving spouse or common-law partner. 2 separate things, and you generally have to apply for both. Here's the part that turns a delay into a real loss. The survivor's pension is not backdated forever. If you apply late, you can generally only recover a limited number of months of back payments, often around a year at most. So a family that waits 2 years to get around to the paperwork doesn't just wait for their money, they can permanently lose the months beyond that window. That money is simply gone. It's not held for you. It's forfeited. So what do you do? As soon as you're able, and I know, as soon as you're able, is a heavy phrase in the middle of grief. You or someone helping you contacts Service Canada, tells them of the passing, and asks the direct question, what survivor benefits do we need to apply for, and what is the deadline on each one? You gather the documents they ask for, the death certificate, your spouse's social insurance number, your own information, and proof of your relationship. And you get those applications in. If you take one thing from this entire video, let it be this: nobody is going to knock on your door to hand you these benefits. The application is the key, and the clock is ticking. That's why it's number 1. Mistake number 2. Number 2. Never keep or spend the payments that arrive after the date of death. This one catches good, honest people completely off guard, and it can turn into a debt you never saw coming. Here's the situation. Your spouse passed away, but their old age security and their CPP payments may keep landing in the bank account for a little while afterward, because the government hasn't been told yet. It feels like it's still their money, still your household money. So it gets used, for the funeral, for the bills, for simply getting through the month. The problem is the rule underneath it. Government pensions like OAS and CPP are generally paid up to and including the month a person passes away, and payments issued for any month after that usually have to be paid back. If those after-death payments sit in the account and get spent, the government will eventually reconcile everything, discover the overpayment, and ask for it back. Now you're a grieving spouse being sent a bill, sometimes months later, for money you didn't even realize you weren't entitled to keep. There's a second layer to this, too. The longer the death goes unreported, the bigger that overpayment grows, and the messier it is to untangle. I've seen families end up owing a meaningful sum simply because nobody made one phone call in the first few weeks. So here's what to do instead. Report the death to Service Canada promptly. That single step stops the OAS and CPP payments cleanly and prevents the overpayment from building. If money for a month after the death has already arrived, don't spend it, and don't panic. Just tell them it's there and let them tell you what has to be returned. And notify the bank and any private pension plans as well, because company pensions and annuities have their own after-death rules. The goal is simple: you never want to be in a position where you've spent money the government is later going to claw back. Reporting early is what protects you from that. Mistake number 3. Number 3. Never rush to cash out the RRSP or the RRIF, and never rush to sell the home. In the fog of loss, there's an instinct to simplify, to close accounts, cash things out, sell the big things, and reduce everything down to something you can manage alone. I understand that instinct completely. But when it comes to your spouse's registered savings, acting too fast can trigger one of the largest, most avoidable tax bills you will ever face. Here's why. In Canada, a registered account like an RRSP or a RRIF has a powerful protection built into it for married and common-law couples. When one spouse passes away, that account can generally be rolled over to the surviving spouse, moved into your own RRSP or RRIF, on a tax-deferred basis. Done properly, with the right beneficiary designation and the right paperwork, that transfer doesn't get taxed at the moment of death. It keeps working for you. But if instead that account gets cashed out, collapsed, paid out in a lump sum, the full value can land on a tax return as income all at once. And a large registered account collapsed in a single year can push the taxes owing into a very high bracket, quietly vaporizing tens of thousands of dollars that could have stayed in the family. The same caution applies to the family home. There can be timing and tax considerations around when and how it's sold, and rushing that decision in the first few raw months, when you're not thinking clearly and shouldn't have to, is how people make a permanent financial choice for a temporary emotional reason. So what do you do? On the big assets, the registered accounts, the home, the rule is, slow down, and get it moved correctly rather than moved fast. Before anything is cashed out, confirm how the beneficiary was designated and whether a tax-deferred spousal rollover applies. This is exactly the kind of moment where a short conversation with a qualified tax professional or advisor pays for itself many times over. You are not being weak by asking for help here. You are protecting years of your family's savings from a single, irreversible mistake made on the worst week of your life. Mistake number 4. Never file that final tax return as if it were an ordinary one, because it isn't, and the special rules are all in your favor if you use them. When a person passes away, there is a final tax return for them, and the surviving spouse also continues to file their own. And here's what almost nobody realizes in the moment: the year of a death actually comes with several tax advantages built specifically to help the survivor, but only if someone knows to claim them. Skip them, and you leave money on the table at the exact moment you need it most. Let me give you the plain English version. In the year of death, a couple can often still take advantage of things like pension income splitting for that year, the very tool that shifts income to the lower taxed spouse and saves real money. There are credits the surviving spouse may be able to claim. There can be special treatment for medical expenses and for certain amounts on that final return. And on the flip side, there are traps, income that all comes due at once, benefits that need to be reconciled, that a careful return handles properly and a rushed, do-it-yourself return often gets wrong. There's also a benefits angle that sits right on top of the tax return, and it's a big one. Government benefits like the GST credit, the Guaranteed Income Supplement, and provincial supplements are all recalculated based on income, and your income situation as a household has just changed dramatically. The final return, and your next return, are what tell the government your new reality. File them correctly and on time, and you make sure you're assessed for everything you now qualify for. File them carelessly, or late, and you can miss benefits that only switch on when the numbers are reported. So what do? Treat the year of death returns as their own special project, not a routine chore. This is another place where a tax professional who handles final returns earns their fee, because they know which elections to make and which credits to claim. If you're doing it yourself, at minimum go in knowing that the year of death has special rules designed to help you, and don't file until you're sure you've used them. Getting this return right protects both the refund on the return itself and the benefits that flow from it for the next full year. Mistake number 5, the biggest, saved for last, and number 5, the one worth the most over time, and the one people miss the most: never forget to reapply for your own benefits as a survivor. Because when your spouse passes, you don't just inherit their benefits. Your own situation changes, and that can unlock money that was never available to you before. Here's the heart of it. As a couple, your household income was one thing. As a survivor, living on your own, your income is often lower, and a whole set of Canadian benefits are income tested, meaning they're designed to give more to people with less. So the very event that turned your world upside down may also make you newly eligible for support you couldn't get before. The guaranteed income supplement is the big one. A survivor who didn't qualify while their spouse was alive may qualify now, and it's a monthly, tax-free payment that can make a genuine difference for the rest of your life. But the government recalculates that based on your income, which means you have to make sure your new situation is on record. There's another benefit that is one of the most overlooked in the entire country, and it exists for exactly this situation: the allowance for the survivor. If you're a low-income survivor in the age range just before old age security begins, this benefit can bridge you through those years, and a huge number of people who qualify have simply never heard of it. It is not automatic. You apply. And here's the subtle trap even careful people fall into. When you claim a CPP survivor's pension on top of your own CPP retirement pension, the two don't simply stack to the full total you might expect. There's a combined limit built into the rules. That's not a reason to skip applying. The survivor's pension is still valuable and you should absolutely claim it. It's a reason to understand what you'll actually receive, so you can plan around the real number instead of a number you assumed. So what do you do? Once the immediate paperwork is handled, sit down, with help if you can, and treat your own benefits as a fresh application, from scratch, based on who you are now, a single-income household. Ask Service Canada directly, given my situation now, do I qualify for the guaranteed income supplement, the allowance for the survivor, or any recalculated benefit? File your taxes every year so those benefits stay switched on. This is the item that pays you not once, but every single month, for years, which is exactly why it's the one I never want you to forget. Outro/CTA. So those are the 5. Never assume the survivor's benefits are automatic. You have to apply, and the clock is running. Never keep or spend the pension payments that arrive after the death. Report it promptly so you're not hit with a bill later. Never rush to cash out the RRSP or RRIF or sell the home. The tax-free spousal rollover protects you if you slow down. Never treat the final tax return as ordinary. It has special rules built to help you. And never forget to reapply for your own benefits as a survivor, because that's the money that carries you forward. I want to say one more thing, gently, before you go. If you're watching this because you've just lost someone, I am truly sorry, and I hope you'll be kind to yourself about the paperwork. You don't have to do all of it in one day. And if you're watching this before that day ever comes, good. That's the best time to understand it, calmly, while there's no pressure and no grief clouding the decisions. Print the list. Keep it somewhere your family can find it. And please remember, this is general education, not personal financial or legal advice. The rules change, and every family's situation is different, so confirm the details with Service Canada, the CRA, or a qualified professional before you act. If this helped you, or you know it will help someone you love, do 2 things for me. Subscribe, so the next time one of these rules changes, you hear it from me first, in plain English. And send this video to one person who needs it, because the family who watches this before they need it is the family that never loses a dollar they were owed. I'm Peter Lawson. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.